Okay, now we need to make sure our newsletter is not just about information. Obviously there's going to be some people who love our products and are going to be interested right now, but we also need to make the newsletter appeal to people who don't know about our products yet. And if we're simply just talking about our own products, it's not likely to appeal to them. We need to get them hooked in first and get people passing it on to them. So here's some ideas for getting people more keen to pass on your newsletter to people who don't even know about your products. So you can put in here tips and hints about products that are related or ideas that are related to your product. And try and include in here some things where people who are not your customers can still benefit from the information. So it's not just a sales pitch. So for example, if you sell pampering type products, you could have a handy hint section of how to look after yourself better. So it's actually nothing to do with needing to buy a product. You're not promoting a product. It's just something that the types of people that you have on your customer list would be interested in. If you can put something like that in there, and I think of my friend down the road who would really benefit from that tip, I'll send her the newsletter. Then she'll be able to read further down the newsletter a little bit about your products. But if your newsletter was only about your products, I might not send it to someone just down the street. Think about customer success stories. Somebody who's had a really fantastic experience with your products, think about putting them in there as well. People do love to see their name, and I find that when you ask people, mostly they're quite happy for you to use them. Once again, probably just use first names though. Of course, you do need to talk about your products. When you do this, focus on one product and make it sound irresistible. Then give a special offer for your subscribers that they really can't refuse, and make it time sensitive. So it's within the next week, because if they don't act on it straight then and there, they won't. It'll just go into their inbox. It'll just stay in there, and along with all the other hundreds of things that are in there. Make sure you've got a sign-up box on your newsletter so that people that receive it from a friend can actually add themselves to their list. And I'll tell you what, it's a great feeling going into your MailChimp account and just finding that suddenly overnight there's a whole lot more people on your list. Now when people unsubscribe, make sure you don't get offended by that. Remember, it's their right to unsubscribe. Sometimes people just don't want to hear about your products anymore, and I'm sure that all of us have unsubscribed from newsletters before. So what we try and do is try and minimize it by making it so interesting and so amazing that nobody would want to unsubscribe. Now you may or may not have a blog. It may be something that you've never thought of, and I'm not suggesting that you suddenly leave this call today and suddenly decide that you have to go and set up a blog. But if you do have one, or once you've got your newsletter sorted and you're looking for the next thing to do, I would suggest that a blog is a good idea. All of the old articles that you've done in all of your newsletters can go on your blog so that people can read them anytime they like. Make sure you give out hard copies of your newsletter. If you go to trade shows or expos, give them out, ask people to sign up. Maybe give out copies at your parties. Make sure you collect people's email addresses at the parties. So at a party, if you ask someone, would you like to be on the mailing list, they might say no. But if you give them each a newsletter and it looks really interesting, I'm imagining that most people would say yes. So there's another way to get people onto your list. Make sure that you also link to things that are interesting and not necessarily just to do with your business or your company. And as I mentioned before, in MailChimp you can go in and you can see how many people clicked on those links. So you'll be able to find out actually what your audience is interested in reading about as well. And of course we've got Facebook and we've got YouTube, and with MailChimp you can upload your newsletter straight to Facebook. If you've got a Facebook business page, it can go straight up there and everyone can read it, and they can then repost it and all of their friends can see about it as well. On YouTube there might be some videos, or you might have uploaded some things to there as well. So what you can see is that this can be massive, and but I don't, for people that have never done a newsletter, I'm not trying to make it sound so huge. You just start with your newsletter, and then you're going to find that as time goes on, you're going to start being able to add some more of these bits and pieces on the Facebook, the YouTube, the blog. That's in the future. Unless you're already up and running with a newsletter, then you might like to look at some of these things straight away. But you can expand your reach beyond what you can imagine if you do it well and if you do it properly. But first thing is, of course, to get your newsletter out.